while we're still leading up to the reveal here of Modern Warfare 2, unsurprisingly, more leaks and insider information keeps coming out. Today, though, we're going to be focused a little more around the project shortly following Modern Warfare 2, that being Warzone 2, and what it will have on offer, as a bit more light has been shed on that today. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What are you hoping to see in Warzone 2? Any particular weapon, mechanic, point of interest? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. As well, if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, do be sure that the subscribe button is stay there with all things Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2, and anything COD related. We've got a busy next 10 days here or so make sure you hit the subscribe button and stay there with absolutely everything. Additionally, my friends over at Gamer Advantage have activated code Espresso up to 20% off site-wide again, which I also still believe that the additional 10% off on certain frames and lenses is still active as well. That sale initially ended this weekend, but they're keeping it live here, so there's one last chance to get the best savings on the best blue light glasses on the market. And finally, last pre-video announcement here, my friends over at the Call of Duty Endowment hit me up to share with you guys. We'll be dropping a PC, Xbox, and PlayStation code for COD points here in the video in celebration of the Memorial Day's Veterans event. Drop in, run in-game, and help the nonprofit place veterans in quality jobs after returning home from deployment. First come, first serve basis on those codes, but stick around tomorrow and the day following for more chances. But that said, let's jump right into it. So we've talked about Warzone 2 and what we've heard for quite some time now, but what's interesting is that the project looks to get even bigger in terms of scale and offering, with a new report coming from insider Tom Henderson. Earlier today, Tom published an exclusive on Xputer entitled "A Second Map is in Development for Warzone 2." From his report, Tom has stated, sources have said that a second map for Warzone 2 is well into development, but is likely to release sometime after Warzone 2 launches. Not much is currently known about the second map, but it has been suggested that it could be similar in size to Rebirth Island from the original Warzone. One source who was recently partaking in a recent playtest for Warzone 2 said the map was visible in the menu of the game, but the curator had stated that the map is currently in early development and was not available for playtest in that session. Now, this isn't entirely out of the ordinary for a handful of reasons. I mean, Rebirth Island has become wildly popular with probably a lot of the vocal fan base, not necessarily the majority, but the more diehard ones like you or I that seek out content on Warzone, or in my case, make content on Warzone. Though while the global numbers still aren't there that Rebirth has entirely taken over the majority of the Warzone player base, it is something that has become beloved by plenty of people. But more directly, it's kind of opened up the dichotomy of how you can play Battle Royale within Call of Duty and Warzone. On one hand, in Caldera's sake, and when it was around Verdansk, it prioritized that long game, survival over everything, more calculated risks and tactical approaches, since it's basically one and done, or in theory, like not really because of the gulag and buybacks, but you get the point. Your life is more valuable in that sense that you want to play it. Rebirth, on the other hand, is a bit more fast-paced. You can be a bit more loose with your gameplay approach, rush into areas, challenge more things that you otherwise wouldn't, because there's always that resurgence second chance so long as your team stays alive. So it introduces an entirely different way to play BR to a degree. So that's become a staple in Warzone, and the way I see it, I kind of would be more surprised if they didn't do this. But admittedly, where I am surprised is that the initial playtest for Warzone 2, pre-debut of anything, we're already seeing glimpses of this already in development. So while it may have been inferred, the main map is still the absolute highest priority here, so just kind of surprised we'd see this in the build that the testers would have access to even at this point. But the other big thing with this report was the timing. That's a big topic of discussion here that we can touch on. Timing is always a moving target, so it's more subject to change than anything else, but Tom had stated that he anticipates this to release during year 2 of Modern Warfare 2's content cycle, perhaps in December 2023, as he stated. But while Tom's track record does check out, and I absolutely have no reason to question this, to me, this may not be final, because this is more of an inference based on the patterns that we've seen set so far, and to a degree, it does check out. But that logic of December 2023 as a release window is more reliant on the full circle situation, with Warzone 2 launching in March of 2023, 3 years after Warzone 1 would have then launched, making it kind of a halfway through the year launch for Warzone 2, just like how we saw Rebirth Island introduced in December of 2020, a little bit over that halfway point into the life cycle of Warzone. But the more information that comes out with Warzone 2, the more that may indeed shift, as while the logical guess is that we'd see that full circle 3-year anniversary launch, recent rumors actually report to this happening much sooner, in 2022 perhaps. Starting firstly with the NFL draft picks saying that Warzone 2 is coming with Modern Warfare 2, but not at the same time, just shortly thereafter, then to other insiders now picking up that sentiment and stating that their sources claim the same as well. So if we take a December to January launch into account, we could end up seeing a second map launch sometime in the summer of 2023, which certainly complicates things, but it's quite possible. My only hope is that looking at the windows for releases here, I love large drops of content, but my only worry is sort of pacing, especially if we have 2 years to fill before our next premium title is released. If we have a full game launch of Modern Warfare 2, shortly followed by another game launch of Warzone 2, the next 2 years may be few and far in between in terms of that sort of content pacing and how things are distributed all the way up until the potential next premium title in 2024. So fundamentally, there's a lot to look forward to over the next coming months. I mean, we have Modern Warfare's reveals, alphas, betas, launch, and then right into Warzone 2 perhaps, but I'll be curious to see how some of these big things do adjust it. Of course, on top of just the fact that we have that other secondary map now in development, it seems like. We've already seen so many things about the Warzone sort of fundamental formula being changed with Warzone 2, it seems, with the interrogation feature being reported, with armor vest levels being reported, a new bag system for your inventory being reported, pro perks, strongholds, attachment reworks, slide canceling being removed, a firing range here for pre-game weapon adjustments, and other things that are changing here. So there's a lot still upcoming that we should absolutely be looking forward to in regards to Warzone 2. But when it comes to just the map discussion and basis here with that, I'm also curious if Warzone 2 then could lead to any deviation in maps later on down the line, as in at the 1-year anniversary mark, do we get another large BR map? At the 1.5 mark, do we get another small scale map? And the bigger question yet, would we be able to keep them all in one singular rotation or sort of voting system? Maybe a seasonal rotation of maps that we have on offer. That was a big hurdle that was discussed here with the Raven team in some of our pre-briefings with content creators and press, that this was never really a thing that was considered with Warzone 1 because of the sizing required. Every time you'd see a large map need to be downloaded or something like that, or a larger update that isn't even a new map changeover, you saw a drastic drop off in the player numbers because, quite simply, people don't want to download 50 to 60 gigabytes of data every single time just to play the game. But Warzone as we know it, it takes up plenty of space, due in part because it's tethered to Modern Warfare 2019. But if you take out, say, the entirety of Modern Warfare 2019's sizing from Warzone, you save about 40 to 50 gigabytes of space. So who's to say by the time Warzone 2 rolls around, that spacing problem couldn't be solved with an additional 40 to 50 gigabytes to use? And who's to say optimization and file sizing isn't better at that point as well? There is a ton of expressed interest in leaning more into the texture streaming, so if those files aren't localized and the user end experience isn't hindered, that frees up another few dozen gigs in space perhaps, meaning that maybe that actually is possible. Now, I quite like the fact that with PUBG, you could queue into whichever map you'd want, and I mean, hey, if that happens now with Warzone, maybe it would lead to a much happier player base. I mean, if that were to happen right now, that means you'd be able to go back and queue into Verdansk again, which I know a ton of people would absolutely love. But that said, that's where we're at here at this Warzone 2. The project seems to get even bigger with every single report here, with a logical inclusion of a second map coming at some point later on down the line, offering up those movement kings, those rebirth kings here, something to do as well. But that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. But before we do, a quick reminder, check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage. Again, they bumped up code Espresso to 20% off here. I thought the sale was going to be done here on Sunday, but they hit me up this morning and said, hey, go crazy, another 12 hours here on top of that. So make sure you check them out if you're on a device 24/7 like myself. For me, it's my PC, editing, gaming, recording commentaries, you name it. Combating blue light is something I've always struggled with, from eye fatigue to sleeping issues. I've had it all over the years, and I've always searched for that best help available. Gamer Advantage 1000% is who I would recommend above anybody else. They're incredibly comfortable, durable, and most importantly, clinically proven. I'd highly recommend the Horizon frames. That's what I use, and sometimes I even forget I have mine on. So if you guys are at all interested in protecting your vision, your long-term health for your eyes, check the link in the description below, and of course, use code Espresso to take advantage of that additional 10% and potentially even in some cases 20% additional boost to get you 20 to 30% off overall. So links in the description below if you guys are at all interested. But that said, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys liking the sound of Rebirth and some of these changes here that we've seen so far, previewed for Warzone 2 upcoming? Maybe not so much. Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing running all things Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2, and anything Call of Duty related. We got a lot up on deck the next couple of weeks, so make sure you stick it here. But that said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.